Hello again, everybody, and welcome into another special edition of the Shank and Spence Show, brought to you by our favorite guys, Shank and Spence. As you guys have been doing this for quite some time now, and finally kind of got off our turkey bellies for a great Thanksgiving feast that we had. We cooked some three turkeys at our house. A lot of good times, a lot of good food, stuffing, gravy, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And we finally got all that stuff out of the way. Got Well, watch some football today, especially still have to watch listen to my great Giants today. I'm trying to keep some optimism in the lowly NFC East. But I want to bring my buddy in Spence, and he's got online as he always is. Going to give his great insight. I'm going to just pass it off to you, Spence, and I might go ahead. You might as well just talk about how great this Giants team is.
Yeah, I might as well spit out like my thoughts, right? Because these thoughts have been building since 4 p.m. today, after I just witnessed, the Giants lose at the hands of the Washington Redskins in Landover, Maryland. And, we did a basketball podcast probably a week ago, the New York Knicks, but I mean, this is the first podcast. We didn't analyze the Patriots Giants game, so it's kind of nice that we can kind of have these two games to kind of catch our viewers up on our opinions. But yeah, about this Giants game, Shank. First, I want to relay your thoughts. It was a great holiday, and I'm sure, and I wish everybody belated Thanksgiving, and it was fantastic. But yeah, let's get into the Washington Redskins game. The bottom line is that this Giants team, Shank, I thought that we were close. I thought this Giants team was ready to turn the page, and I thought we were ready to take a step today and make the playoffs. We haven't been in the playoffs in 4 years, and against the New England Patriots, that team, the Giants team that played the New England Patriots, I did not recognize that team. That was an elite level performance by our guys, and if Odell Beckham caught the ball in the end zone or Landon Collins secured that interception, we would have dethroned the undefeated Patriots at home. So I thought we made a ridiculous step. I thought that Shenko, if the Giants were like a Mario game, I thought the Patriots game was like us, like getting a cheat code and advancing like 8 levels, because that was just, we played ridiculously well against the New England Patriots. And then today in Washington, we resorted back to the same Giants that played the New Orleans Saints, the same Giants that couldn't stop Matt Ryan in the fourth quarter against Atlanta, the same Giants that couldn't stop Dallas when we pretty much had the first Dallas game all in hand. So I was very disappointed in today's effort. We had a bye week. We were going to Washington, a team we historically beat down every time we play them. We own Kirk Cousins. We almost ended his career last year in Washington. And today, we just went out off of a bye week, and we just threw up a complete goose egg today.
We really did, and I really was so optimistic going into the bye week. I thought we would have some great momentum. Eli getting some rest. Odell Beckham, rehabbing. Jason Pierre-Paul rehabbing from his hand, and also signing a familiar face in Hakeem Nicks. And I thought he was gonna, get our offense going again. He's very familiar with Eli, with the team chemistry, especially. They're very good with being very well because they used to play with each other for like 3 years, especially back in our great 2011 run. Since he still has Super Bowl ring with us, but. It's just the same old Giants again. Like, this is a very inconsistent team. Watching them every week, it's basically watching the same old soap opera. Like today, I'm like sitting on my couch and I'm falling asleep again. Like Tremaine Wade, missing a coverage here, and then Landon Collins, missed coverage there, and people not like Cohen Jenkins not getting to the quarterback, no rush again.
Yes.
I'm making Kirk Cousins making it. He can call up and order a pizza and then get back and still have time to throw the damn ball. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's the same stuff we see every week.
Put a quarterback in that pocket, man.
Exactly. And you watch and also a part of our struggle is every week is we don't have the personnel again. Like we're always injured every week, especially at the offensive line position, because we have Newhouse, who's he's a very average offensive lineman. He's it's his fourth team in his sixth year, and he's basically going to be a journeyman. And you have another guy like John Jerry, starting out for the first time in in multiple years. I mean, he has veteran talent, but he's definitely not enough to get us over the hump. Not enough talent. I mean, you got some unknown guy today starting, Dallas Reynolds, starting at center. I think he had a false start today, and he couldn't get the ball off correct. He get the ball off because it was a delayed game, and there was a lot of holding penalties today.
Yeah.
And Eric Flowers is still a young guy developing. There's just there's no consistency at offensive line position. I don't see any progressions. Nobody's learning again. I'm looking at our running backs and seeing who's gonna step up, but you really can't evaluate this talent that we have at the running back position because our offensive line does not help us out because I feel like we have some great talent in our offensive especially running backs with I really like Orleans Darkwa. Definitely has some great size and really it kind of reminds me of a smaller Brandon Jacobs, and then you have Andre Williams, who is a third down back at best, and then there's Shane Vereen. Obviously, he's a great every down back, definitely a threat on the receiving and the running end. But you definitely need to see some more consistency running the football, and I've not been seeing that. And I'm trying to look for this clear-cut starter because we're still trying to figure out who our running back's going to be, and we still can't figure it out because everybody's always injured on the offensive line. And I think Weston Richburg got hurt today with a fractured left leg, so now he's out for the rest of the year. Justin Pugh, we don't know when he's going to be back, and it all comes down to keeping your guys healthy. And as we've said on our other podcasts, the past couple of years, we have not been healthy for a whole year, especially at, key positions that we really need best to, be a success in the NFL.
No doubt, Shank, and you laid that out perfectly. And we pretty much abolished the running game. We only ran 13 times for 33 yards. I mean, that's not going to get it done. And Eli Manning was throwing the ball 51 times, and only a handful of quarterbacks in all of the NFL's history have been successful throwing the football over 50 times. I can literally count them on one hand. You have Peyton Manning in his prime, Tom Brady, maybe Dan Marino, and John Elway. That's essentially it. There's even Hall of Famers like Terry Bradshaw and Troy Aikman that had Emmitt Smith and guys like that they can hand the football off to. And you need to have a balanced attack if you're going to be successful. The one point I wanted to make that's sort of interesting on your part that I want to kind of dissect is you mentioned that we don't have the personnel to be successful in the NFL, and I agree that with Weston Richburg being out, with Pugh not coming in and really fulfilling his potential, with Eric Flowers in and out of the lineup, with Marshall Newhouse, with no Will Beatty, and Jeff Schwartz today getting injured again. I think Jeff Schwartz is going to be out for the year. Mm-hmm. Again, these offensive linemen cannot stay healthy, and that's a test that's pretty much I think Jerry Reese needs to be held responsible for drafting these linemen so high in the first round and them not being able to stay on the field. I know injuries happen, but you can't draft guys that have injury-prone careers, and also these offensive linemen are not doing a solid job anyway. You mentioned the running back by committee. Here's the interesting thing, though, Shenko, is that how come we almost beat New England 2 weeks ago? How come our defense, we had that guy McBride made a fantastic play on Tom Brady. We held Tom Brady in check that football game. How come we were able to do that against Gronkowski, against Danny Amendola? How come we almost beat New England and we put pressure on Tom Brady and Jameis Winston? And then we make Kirk Cousins. We resorted back to the Saints game. We let Kirk Cousins have all the time in the world that he wanted. And you know what, Shenko? You know what I call this defense? I call it roller coaster defense, because literally you sit on a roller coaster. You have no idea where it's going to go because the other team is dictating what they're going to do when they're pretty much running whatever offense they want. It's like they're hanging onto a roller coaster for dear life. And that was the New Orleans Saints game. And I thought that we matured. I thought that we were past New Orleans, man. I thought we advanced a step from New England and we would finally take a step and win this sorry division.
Right. I wanted to point out that I want to answer the question because it's like watching every week. It's like watching Patriots, and it's difficult because I think that once we play the Patriots, it's always like, we get hyped for the big game because like we have the Patriots number. It's all about matchups, and to answer your question, really, like I said, it's all about we always play the Patriots well. We always have Tom Brady's number, and every time we play him, we always get hyped and big for this game. Eli doesn't care. He'll throw it down your throat. It really doesn't matter. And, and it's like when we're favorite in a game, like today, we were favorite in the game by like we were like a 2-point favorite. When we're always favorite, we always don't play well. And the problem with that is, we're, like you said, we're very a roller coaster team because, we don't know what's going to happen each week with our Giants because, because we always play for the big game. But then the next week comes, we're just going to play lackluster. It's the Redskins. We're not going to play this week. There's too much of an inconsistency. There's a team. They're a team you just can't turn it on and off like that. And it's like it comes down to the players because you got to get these guys fired up for a big game because you need to get a stranglehold on this division because now you're really sitting in the back seat now of this division because when I look at the schedule now for the Giants, obviously we have the Jets next week. I mean, the Jets have been playing really well. Ryan Fitzpatrick's been, progressing as a quarterback. He threw like 300 yards today. Yeah, they blew out the Dolphins, and I really think that they're going to win that division. And the Jets. I mean, because the Bills are that bad, but
in a wild card, New England will win that division. They can easily compete for a wild card spot.
It's difficult. Yeah, even if the wild card spot, I don't see I don't see the same like fire and the same spirit that our players had like we did when we had our great 2011 and 2007 run. But Spence, I look at the schedule, right? At the Jets, like the way we play, what's going to be a loss? And then, honestly, it's going to come down to the Giants and the Redskins at the end because I think, honestly, the Eagles are done. Mark Sanchez, is not going to be the savior for your franchise. Sam Bradford is erratic at times. And also, you might as well put a fork into the Cowboys as well. They can't win without Romo. Romo's out with the second left clavicle injury again. He's out for the year again. But I'm just telling you, like, even though we have a chance at a wild card spot, I don't see, for example, like we're playing teams like the Jets. I don't see them winning this week. Then we have the Dolphins at the Dolphins. That's a tough road game. I don't care if they're 4-7. We'll always find a way to struggle. Then we have the 11-0 Panthers, even at home. That's a loss. That's going to be a tough game. Then you also got to go on the road against AP, the best running back arguably in the league right now. And then the last game, the Eagles. And then I look at the Skins schedule, and you just see a very favorable schedule. And it's like you can make all these excuses saying, the Skins or the Giants have a chance, this division, I mean, just looking at the Skins schedule, I mean, they still got to play Dallas twice. They got to play Chicago, who's, like a 500 team. Buffalo is a 500 team. Then you have the 3-7 Philadelphia. I honestly see the Skins are going to pull this division out just because, Kirk Cousins is really, progressing well right now, and we're making him look really good. I don't care if he looked bad against the Panthers because Panthers are just on a roll right now. They might go 16-0. I just think that the Skins, they're favorable right now. They're probably going to get a better conference record than us, and the Giants are just it's just not there this year. I just don't see. I'm really disappointed in our performance today, just because of the fact that it's a part of it is we don't have the personnel thanks to Jerry Reese, and also thanks to this coaching staff not getting us fired up to play a critical matchup this week to get a stranglehold on this division.
Yeah. What you mentioned is that first off, we have a bye week, so we have time so we should be healthy, and we just played New England tough. the thing I want to see from the Giants is I want to see them improve. I want to see some progress, whether it's defensively or offensively. And literally, Shenko, let's talk about what the Giants can do, what the Giants have shown that they can do well. Let's mention why they beat the Buffalo Bills, why they beat Tampa Bay. So the thing the Giants do well is that they usually can stop the run, right? Against Buffalo, they were tremendous at stopping the run. Against New England, they did a solid job of stacking LeGarrette Blount. Today versus Alfred Morris and Matt Jones, there's no reason that those guys should be gaining 5 yards a pop before defensive ends are getting to the running back. So essentially, there were no blitzes today, no pressure on the quarterback, as you mentioned. The running backs could get 5 yards at a clip before our linebackers even come into play. Prince Amukamara is getting hurt again. Or what's his name? Cromartie even took a really bad injury as well. Hosley got beat by Deshaun Jackson down the field. And guess what? Our running game was atrocious, and our offensive line, we gave Eli no time to pass the football. And I do think that as you look at our schedule, the Jets are a very good matchup for the Giants because I think Fitzpatrick can really throw interceptions. I don't trust Fitzpatrick on a week-to-week basis. He's not a great quarterback. He won't torch us like Drew Brees. They're mostly a running football team, and they can be had. So I look at the Jets. You can beat them. And then Miami on Monday night. I see the Giants also having a wonderful chance to beat the Miami Dolphins there. And then you have Carolina and Minnesota. You got to split those games. I think Washington going to Chicago will be tough. I think they might split with Dallas. They have to still go to Philadelphia. I don't think that this Redskins team is that consistent, but the bottom line, Shenko, is that this team has no identity, and you're not going to win football games throwing 50 times of Eli Manning. And people are going to say, oh, well, the Giants only lost 20-14. They really showed good fight in the fourth quarter of this football game. No, they didn't. The whole game was a freaking disaster. And the point is, Shenko, is that for 3.5 quarters, the Giants laid a complete egg. Eli Manning throwing an interception in the red zone, making a really dumb, crucial mistake. The running game not getting off the ground at all. Defense showing no strengths. So the thing about the NFL is that the Giants can look awful 1 week, and then they can come back. They can stuff the run. Odell Beckham can have a big day. They could run the football adequately, and that's the thing, is which Giants team are you going to see, because they do have the potential to go into the playoffs and possibly win a game or two. They do.
That's all they're going to do. But, I mean, just going off what you say, I mean, the Giants are going to get torched every week. I mean, Kirk Cousins threw for 300-plus yards this week for crying out loud. It's Kirk Cousins. I mean, I know he's not an elite quarterback, but, like, I understand. Like, it's like every week it's the same thing. Like, I understand Drew Brees is great quarterback, but even though his team's not playing well right now, and then you have Tom Brady, who obviously torches everybody whenever he plays. I think the Patriots are doing well right now.
But it's not. But Shenko, it's not every week because Jameis Winston didn't torch us. Brady didn't torch us. Tyrod Taylor did it.
Yeah, but I give Jameis Winston benefit of the doubt. He's a rookie guy. He's still learning. Like I expect to rattle a quarterback like a Jameis Winston. But also, like, when you look
and Cousins, the first game, man, we shut him down.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, it's all about matchups. Because, like, look at the Eagles, for example. The Eagles got destroyed by Jameis Winston, and Eagles made Jameis Winston look like a god. And then, like, when we play Jameis Winston, we shut him down. So, like, I mean, like, we play all these lackluster quarterbacks in the NFL right now, and they just torch us to God heavens. It's ridiculous. Like,
and Brady didn't torch us.
Everybody torches us in the league. We're like one of the last in the league in pass defense. I hate watching our pass defense.
I'm saying Brady didn't torch us, though. Why didn't Brady torch us?
What's that?
Why didn't Brady torch us?
Well, I mean, like, Brady torched us on the last drive. I mean, obviously, because it's Tom.
We had him on 4th down. Landon almost picked him.
I know, but, like, you still, regardless if Landon Collins made that catch or not, you still got to make that. You still got to stop him no matter what. You can't have Tom Brady have another second chance. If you have a second chance in the NFL, you're going to get torched by, I don't care, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And I just like you say, like our linebackers are not getting there after 3 or 4 yards a clip. And as a Temple out proud, I mean, in this draft coming up, I'm looking. I honestly hope we don't make the playoffs as a Giants fan, so we can be able to get some better picks. Hopefully get some more talent. I know you can get talent later in the draft, but I really want to see this Tyler Medikevich from Temple. He's leading in tackles right now in the FPS right now. He's playing out of his mind. It's a senior season. Temple's having a great year.
Yeah.
I mean, Temple's defense this year is absolutely outstanding. I absolutely love seeing this kid. Everybody knows who watches my podcast. I go to Temple, and I love this Medikevich. He plays lights out. I hope to see we can get him in the second or third round this upcoming draft. But I also heard a report that Giants don't make the playoffs this year. Mr. Mara went out and said publicly. He said that in an article, or I think it was on Giants.com. I'm not sure, but that Tom Coughlin or Jerry Reese are on the hot seat. They might not be back because they haven't made the playoffs. In 4 years, they've been struggling to be a NFC presence the past couple of years, and I feel like it's time for a new change. I'm gonna go out and say it right now. I think we need a new change.
No.
Personnel spot. I know he made a great pick last year in Odell Beckham, but what other talent that he's picked in the past couple of years, he really hasn't.
Yeah,
a lot of guys have left, like Justin Tuck, Osi Umenyiora went to Atlanta, and you had two guys who left had some really bad personnel decisions, like Ahmad Bradshaw, Hakeem Nicks, guys who really were the backbone of our championship runs. But I'm I really hope the Giants do possibly not make the playoffs, and then we can go a different direction at our personnel and or coach spot, because I think Tom Coughlin has done well for us. I admire him for everything he's done for us, and I'm really just getting tired of going 8-8 every year since then. I really just feel like we just need a new voice. Sometimes you just need a new voice in a locker room to really turn around our fortunes for our Giants going forward.
Listen, Shenko, I want to definitely politely disagree with you on those fronts, because as a Giants fan, I always want to get in the playoffs. The years where we have won Super Bowls is when we're going into the playoffs at 10-6 and 9-7. In fact, when we won the Super Bowl our second year, we went 0-2. Or in 2007, we started off the year 0-2. There was even a game versus Minnesota that year when we won the Super Bowl where Eli Manning threw 4 interceptions in one game. And then in the playoffs, you see how Eli changed. It's night and day between regular season Eli and playoff Eli. And if you get in the tournament, some crazy things can happen. Players can get hurt. The Giants can connect on Hail Marys, which you've seen in the playoffs. The Giants beat a 15-1 Green Bay Packers team with Aaron Rodgers playing in the prime of his career. You got to get into the dance in the NFL and see what happens. And the way the Giants played New England, the way the Giants played the Buffalo Bills, the way that they handled Washington and Dallas earlier in the year, it gives me some hope that the Giants have that second gear. Because I saw it firsthand. I saw them play Buffalo. I saw them play the New England Patriots. They have the talent on this roster now to compete with NFL's best, and they displayed that to you a week ago. So you got to win this division. I mean, what do you want to let Washington win the division from you? Go into the playoffs and take your swing, because Carolina, they have no playoff experience. They could be had. Arizona is a one-dimensional team with Carson Palmer at quarterback. There is no dominant team in the NFC. And in fact, when the Patriots do well, when they make the Super Bowl, so do the Giants. So I know that today was awful, but the NFL is a game that changes from week to week. If I was going to talk to you, Shenko, after we almost beat New England, and I was going to tell you that the Giants would beat Washington 31-10, you would look at me today and you would have a completely different reaction, and you would say, you know what, Spencer, I could totally believe that outcome because this team has turned the corner. So you got to ride this thing out. Who cares about a 15th pick in the draft? We have a chance to win a world championship in the most unpredictable sport in all the world. Okay, NFL Super Bowl champions are often wild cards and crappy division winners, like 10-6 division winners.
I understand everything you're saying, but I honestly think like when we had our run in 2011 when we played the 15-1 Rodgers. Rodgers is not really like a dual threat type of quarterback. If we ever come up in the division round against the Panthers, how in the world are you going to be able to stop a dual threat Cam Newton who is absolutely playing his best ball since his Auburn days? And then like how would those corners be able to match up against guys like that? Those linebackers are gonna get exposed all day. We have nobody we have Jonathan Casillas. I mean, no disrespect to Jonathan Casillas. He's not a guy who can really make a playmaker. Who's going to be our playmaker on the defense that's going to be making these stops? Because I honestly don't see it. And obviously, if we face somebody like Carson Palmer, even though it's a one-dimensional offense, Carson Palmer is still a respectable quarterback in this league. I don't care what Cardinals got a really good defense and Bruce Arians and Eli even he still struggles against a poor Redskin defense who's giving up like 200 yards every game through the air, and it's like how could you compete against these guys coming out and then coming up again when we what if we played against the Vikings? Honestly, you could just give the ball to Adrian Peterson all day long because you could see Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta has Dan Quinn Dan Quinn he was a defensive coordinator from Seahawks last year. And they had the number one defense last year, and it's and Atlanta had no answer for Adrian Peterson today. And I understand that we can make a run and this and that, but I don't see where our playmaking is going to come in, and I feel like a lack of depth at the personnel decision, especially with these injuries we have at the offensive line, because Eli's not going to be able to win a game for you. We have right now because we don't have our personnel, especially at the offensive line. I'm a former offensive lineman myself. It really starts at the offensive line where people are blocking. And back in 2011, Spence, we had great guys and Hakeem Nicks that can make plays.
We had Pettigrew and O'Hara and those offensive linemen.
Right, we had all those great offensive linemen back in the day, and we had them healthy, and honestly, you can't, like I said before, you can't just turn it on and off like that. I mean, obviously, if we somehow make it to the 3rd seed or 4th seed in the division, then you have to play, you probably have to play Seattle, who's obviously a formidable opponent. You still have
that would be the worst
boys. I'm scared to death if we ever get into the playoffs because I think this team's a one and done football team, and I honestly don't see where we're gonna pull out any type of big plays from our key playmaking positions.
There's no harm in making the postseason, though, Matt. And for Landon Collins to get experience, it's important. For Odell Beckham, for these guys to dream about winning a Super Bowl every year. I sign up, and as a Giants fan, I'm never rooting for them to not make the playoffs for a draft pick or root for them to struggle. Maybe if the Giants were 2-8, I'd root for them to lose all their games out if there was another quarterback waiting in the end.
That's what people should do, but
What? Yeah, exactly. That's what they're actually hoping right now, ironically. But the point is, you talk about the Giants and them running the football, against Tampa Bay, they ran the football well. Against Washington the first time, they ran the ball well. Against the Buffalo Bills, they ran it well. So it's not like this team doesn't have the ability to run the football and to play Giants football and to get after it. I thought the play calling today was just atrocious. Even if the run game is not – and by the way, Washington does have an above-average defensive front. But the bottom line is you got to stick to the run. You got to practice and simulate what you're going to do in the playoffs if you get there. And I want the run-pass ratio to be 35 passes and 25 runs. I don't care who runs the ball. You got to keep the defense honest, and you can't let Eli go out there and just go on just like you're playing in a video game with Eli, let him throw 50 times. That's not applicable. That's not a successful way to win. And Spagnuolo, you have literally walking, you have walking guys out there in the secondary that cannot defend, okay? So the one way to beat, a team like Washington in a passing attack is you got to get in Kirk Cousins' face and rush the guy. He is prone to making mistakes. So Spagnuolo, very disappointed in him today because Kirk Cousins is known. It's in his DNA to make game-crushing interceptions, and today they did not blitz him one bit. Not only did they not blitz Kirk Cousins, guys were running wide open. So the defense was just like walking dead. It was walking dead, and Washington could do whatever the heck they wanted, and it was just a very poor effort today. But that does not mean that we won't come out against the Jets and play a lot better because this team is inconsistent, and part of being inconsistent means that this team can also summon their inner glory. This team also has shown that they can play at a high level. So I'm not going to quit on these guys yet. I want to see them make the playoffs. Maybe we can click like we did in that Patriots game. I still have faith that that team can be summoned somehow.
Right, and we, like I said before, like playing against the Buffalo Bills, they're like a above average team. I understand what you're saying there, but I was saying from earlier that the Redskins have a pretty porous secondary. I know their defensive front is average at best, but like I honestly feel like we need like a game, like a play turnaround like we had in 2011. We played the Jets. If every Giants fan obviously remembers that 99-yard pass from Eli to Victor Cruz, like we need one of those types of plays to really like set, to turn our season around. Be able to play more consistent up front, be able to run down people's throats. Pep talk these guys who are coming in. Really just mentoring these guys, trying to be able to get ready every week, and you just gotta focus now on the New York Jets. Now you gotta shut down Fitzpatrick, and you just gotta hopefully a season turnaround play will happen next week, just like we saw back in 2011 with the Jets.
No, you got to play with heart, like you're saying. There's got to be energy. And after that Dwayne Harris punt return for a touchdown, you felt that energy. After the Odell catch in the Patriots game, you felt that. There were certain plays during the season that you could talk about, like in the San Francisco game where the guy dropped that interception and then we hit Larry Donnell. It seems like years ago that happened, and us beating the San Francisco 49ers. But you look at this Giants team, their defensive line with Hankins and Jenkins, they need to be able to stop Chris Ivory. I believe if they play hard and practice hard, that's not an unattainable goal to stop the Jets' rushing attack. Then you have Fitzpatrick, a very erratic journeyman type of quarterback that the Giants should blitz a lot and hope to intercept a lot. Then you have Ryan Tannehill and the Dolphins, a team that in a week from now might just quit entirely. So you could possibly win 2 straight ball games. And then you have Carolina and Minnesota. I completely agree that you have to split those games. But just like the points you brought up, if the Giants can't win this sorry division, you do need to get a change. I think Jerry Reese should be on the hot seat, and I think that Tom Coughlin, it might be time for him to step down because the NFC East will never be this bad in future years. This is the easiest the division has been.
Yeah, and I really just hope to see a new change coming up because, I think it's fool's gold for these guys to go to the playoffs. I know it's going to be great experience for, guys like Odell getting in the playoffs and, Hakeem getting back to the playoffs again, being able to relive that, Giants playoff lore. But I feel like it's just fool's gold because, it's going to be, you're going to be one and done again. And then, like, I understand I know as a Giants fan, we can make this run, but like I'm very pessimistic right now. I'm finding ways to stay positive and like
No, but
over the past weeks, 13 weeks I've been watching them every week. I don't really see a progressive.
yeah.
Like my team on defensively is not progressing well, and I really just don't see, a a game changer on the defense. Besides maybe a Rogers Camardi, but he can't play all 11 positions, and I just want to see something new. Maybe I really want to see something new happen because even though it might not be a home run type of coach that you get, because I know Mara is old fashioned. He likes to get the guys who have been in our system for a good period of time. Because as every Giants fan knows, Tom Coughlin has been in the league for quite some time, and he used to be with the Giants when the Giants made that run in 1990 when we beat the Buffalo Bills. He was on that coaching staff, and I probably hire somebody who's familiar with that team, who can build through the draft, be able to. I would love to get somebody like a Mike Upati from the San Francisco 49ers. He's a great guard. I love his size. He's like 6'6", 300 pounds. I absolutely love him. I always play with him like in Madden. I know it's like funny to say, but I just love him.
They don't mention guards in Madden.
Yeah, I know. I love his size. Like he's a big name guy. Whoever is a free agent, I don't know who's a free agent coming out next year, but somebody a big name guy who has been a good veteran to bring in to be able to mentor these offensive linemen, because a lot of these guys, offensive linemen, they're very young. They don't really have somebody to look up to for help. I understand you have the coaches there to help out, but that can only do so much. You need one of those guys to be able to build around and be able to get advice from. And if you get that advice from a guy who's who has been in the league for quite some time, like an Upati, then you could be able to bring these guys back to that Giants, that ground and pound Giants football that we love and endure. And that's what I would love to see coming next year, because I'm already looking at next year because like obviously we need all the help we can get.
But after New England, Shenko, like, were you really looking forward to next year after we almost beat the Patriots?
Yeah, I really am, because if this is going to be the same thing over and over every week, it's like when are you going to start clicking? It's like right around the corner. It's December already, and it's like when are you going to finally turn it on? It's like you've been in training camp since June, and you can't just and all of a sudden you're going to turn it on in December where guys are the hard ground and pound of the NFL season. You're just going to be like, I'm going to wake up one day and I'm just going to be like, oh, well, I'm just going to play really good this week because, it's time to play. It's December. We need to do well. No, you play all year long, and that's what great teams do, like, the Panthers do, and, the Patriots and the Bengals have played well. But, their verdict is out when they get into –
That's not how the NFL works, though. That's why teams like the Bengals will lose in the playoffs, because it's a one-game scenario. It's a crapshoot every single year. And the Giants, they've showed this year that they can run the ball down people's throats. Like in the Tampa Bay game, Rashad Jennings iced them out with a 4-minute series of running. In the Dallas game, you had Orleans Darkwa coming out of nowhere and running the football decently well. I'm not ready to turn the page on this season. I think you got to ride this thing out. You're right there, up there at first place.
Ride it out all you want.
Yes, and guess what? Up until today, I honestly thought that the Giants had this division in the bag. I was ready to celebrate a Giants win today. I was ready to win. I was ready to get my Giants 2015 NFC East Championship shirt.
Oh, I'm not buying that crap.
Hosting a playoff game at the Meadowlands for the first time in 4 years. You can't pass that up as a Giants fan. And the NFL is such an unpredictable game. You have Eli Manning, who has shown this year that he has the capability of turning into the Hall of Famer that he is. He could summon that magic. You have Tom Coughlin, a coach that knows how to win late in the season. And I'm not ready to just throw in the towel on this regime and everything. I'm ready to just see this every single week of this season. It was very concerning that they laid a complete egg against Washington, and that I think today was more of a sense of us just being completely unmotivated, being injured. And I think that today was just us really not performing well, Shenko. I don't think that this was the best we had to offer. It was a pathetic effort today, a horrendous game, but I see us playing a lot better in future weeks.
Well, I hope you're right, because I hope to see my Giants do well. I obviously don't want to see them. I mean, obviously it'd be great. I think it's to be a win-win situation for me as a Giants fan, because I've already won. I've seen 2 Super Bowls in my lifetime. It'd be nice to win another Super Bowl, obviously, but you just sometimes you get a feeling some years, and it's just like for example, like when we had great leaders. In 2007, we had Antonio Pierce. We had guys like Justin Tuck, who is a very former guy, very well. And you also had guys like trying to think. We had veteran leaders back in the day, like Sam Madison, and guys who can mentor these guys. But I just don't see like guys. Maybe Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie can pep them up. Who knows? But jury's still out on my Giants, but I will ride to them until I die. So we'll see how it progresses in these next couple weeks. But if they make a run in these playoffs, Spencer, you know what? Then you can go ha. But until then, the jury's still out.
Guess what? Spags has got to blitz. Right, I'm holding you to this. And in fact, if the Giants do go on a run, I cannot wait to play you back the quotes from this podcast.
I hope so. You know what? I hope I'm wrong in it.
Hey, here's a trivia question. When did that Victor Cruz play happen, the 99-yarder versus the Jets?
That was in 2011.
That happened in week 15.
Yeah, that's right. What week is it now? We're in week 13.
Week 15 of the NFL season, that happened, the second to last week of the Giants season.
I was sitting right here watching it Christmas Eve, and Christmas Eve had our famous eggnog, and it was Christmas cheer for all, and it was definitely a belated Christmas present that year. But hey, like you said, I agree with you. Anything, but I hope you hold to it, because I hope I'm wrong.
Here's the other thing, man. They were playing Dallas. They were 8-7 that year in 2011. They beat the Dallas Cowboys down. Tony Romo was underwater. The defensive line was just incredible with Justin Tuck, Osi Umenyiora. Just the glory days of Giants football. Even Jason Pierre-Paul getting in on the act. And ever since I saw that Dallas Cowboys game, I knew the Giants were going to win that Super Bowl that year, because I knew their defense was that special. And then we beat Matt Ryan 24-2, and then I knew after that I was like, this team isn't going to lose to anybody.
Yeah, and
so the point is, you got to ride till the end of the year, because maybe they can hit that switch somehow. You never know.
Now, some way, you never know.
And they've showed potential. They just got to continue to be coached better. If they don't make the playoffs, I completely agree. I think it would be very hard not to fire Coughlin if they can't make it in this sorry division.
Some things just need to happen for us. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see. We'll just ride it out and see what happens.
You got to run the football. You got to do certain things to be very successful. I completely agree with you.
That's right. I totally agree, and. Yeah, where do you want to go with this now? We I have all night talk, but
we're at extra hours right now of our podcast. So.
Yeah, we are. I'm ready to still go. I mean, I'm ready to.
I'm going to give this like another 10 minutes, and we could take this wherever we want, because we captured the New York Giants. And the last analogy I want to say about the Giants is like when they played the Patriots, it is like Shenko. It was like a kid getting a B+ on his midterm. Like a really hard class, it's like a kid getting a B+ on his finance midterm, and then the Giants played Washington today. So then it's like that same kid who got a B+ on his midterm got like a D on a regular exam when he had extra time to prepare.
I know we're gonna switch gears now, and we're gonna talk about something that really just struck my attention over the past couple hours. I just heard from Kobe Bryant. I don't know if anybody's heard, but has officially announced his retirement from the NBA. He's going to be playing this year out, and he gave a private letter to Meta World Peace. And everybody who's attending the Lakers game today will be receiving a special letter from Mr. Bryant. How he's enjoyed his time in the NBA, how all his love, his passion, his drive for the game, and it's really just when you hear people, and it's just really just like I first hear it, I'm like, wow, it's like I'm really just shell shocked because it's Kobe Bryant. It's like he's like an icon in the NBA. The first thing you think of, as common NBA stars, growing up as millennials, and seeing him play and watching him, put up the 81-point game, and being able to play against greats like Jordan and Vince Carter and Jason Kidd, and being able to play against guys like Tim Duncan, and playing with guys in the era, and
Derek Fisher, Shaq,
everybody, and it's just so like sad to see. And I mean, obviously his body is catching up to him. He had a couple Achilles tears, and a lot of problems with his physical health. But for a fact that he definitely wants to keep playing until he's like 80 years old, especially with his mindset. He loves the game to death. I watched multiple documentaries of him loving the game, being able to go on the NBA grind, going to different cities. But I really appreciate what he's doing because he wanted to fail out this year and see how his body would react coming off an injury. And now everybody's going to have a chance to go out and see him now. Every city's going to, be pressing on the door trying to get their last ticket to be able to see a great Kobe Bryant going out for the last time. And, I just want to – I want to be able to go to the Lakers are coming to the Sixers this Tuesday, and, hopefully I'll be able to, check that out. But I just want to, it's
going to be a hot ticket.
I want to give your thoughts on, on Kobe Bryant and where it's going to happen.
Yeah, man. I mean, Kobe Bryant, it's really sad because, you know what, Shenko? It really shows, man, we're actually getting pretty old. It's a real passage of time because Kobe Bryant has pretty much been a relevant figure in my life for pretty much my entire life. I mean, what I remember of Kobe Bryant, I remember that Sacramento Kings Lakers series so well. Mike Bibby, Chris Webber versus Kobe, Robert Horry, Shaquille O'Neal, Rick Fox, and the Lakers. And I remember Robert Horry hitting that three to beat them. I remember Kobe scoring 81 versus the Toronto Raptors, and you really had two Kobe Bryants. You had Afro Kobe Bryant, where he was number 8, where that dude was just dunking on cats every single game, spinning baseline, just using his athletic ability, him playing with Shaquille O'Neal. And then you had the Lakers of the late 2000s, where they beat the Orlando Magic, where they beat the Boston Celtics late. And that was Kobe Bryant, number 24, kind of using his shooting ability and his savviness to really be effective as well. So it's tremendously sad because this is a guy that you really grew up with, and a part of your life is now going to be taken away. And it's always nice just to have Kobe Bryant to play basketball with. And Shenko, I wanted to ask you this question. I look at Kobe Bryant, and I see some potential in that guy to be successful as a role player coming off the bench as an 8th guy. But maybe Kobe Bryant, maybe he's so used to being the man that he just cannot, settle into that role of coming off the bench, and being a guy like an NBA journeyman, like a Jermaine O'Neal was, and like some other guys, like a KG is right now.
Way I'm going to approach this question, I really feel I'm just going to pull out my opinion out right now. It might not be a great opinion to a lot of people who are Kobe fans out there, but I just want to give my opinion about him. Him being a great player as he is, it's really hard to, switch your mindset to be a role player, especially a great caliber player or talent like Kobe Bryant, being able to, his love for the game, his love for the purple and gold. You could tell he did not want to leave the Lakers. He wanted to be a Laker for life, bleed, purple and gold. And he just didn't want to take that less money and be a journeyman. He just wanted to stay. And it's really it's like when you watch Kobe now and he's shooting like 1 of 15 and, like one of 15 from the floor, shooting porous from the floor. And it's really like, I understand that, Kobe Bryant, like how they paid that big 2-year, like almost $50 million contract. I know it's LA and the luxury tax and all that. I understand that. But why not? But why, as a Laker organization, why not, give him less money? Because, he's an aging superstar. His skills have diminished as he has grown as a mature man growing into his higher 30s. Your skills diminish as a player, and you really see this now. And I feel like right now for the Lakers, they're just a sinking Titanic ship. They have this aging guy, and he's just taking up all this cap room to be able to lure free agents and free agency to be able to bring guys in to be able to win a title for you guys. And if I understand that Kobe needs his money, I understand that, but if I understand Kobe's trying to chase for a 6th title, but if Kobe really wanted to chase for that 6th title, why not take a pay cut? And Kobe has made millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in ads and all the special promotions that he makes, through shoes, his brand. Why not take a substantial pay cut to be able to bring in great guys like LaMarcus Aldridge or guys like big role players that can really fill your roster spot and be able to build a great a big three like
everybody wants to go to LA.
Howard, and be able to, because I honestly feel Kobe Bryant and it's really frustrating. I feel like a lot of Lakers fans are still frustrated that Dwight has left, and I understand he's not a big Lakers guy, especially Dwight Howard, but why not be able to bring in guys? But why? I don't understand why Kobe is being. I feel like, in my opinion, that he's being selfish because he just wants all this money, and like I feel like he's lying because you want to make all this money, right? But like you're saying to me, you want to chase the title, but you still want to be paid all this money. Like it really does not. I can't put 2 and 2 together because he really is lying because you're not trying to win a championship. You're just trying to be the guy. Go out in the sunset. Because look at them right now. They're 2 and 13. Kobe has probably had his worst shooting performance in his career right now, and I really wish that. The Genie Bus didn't, give him that big contract that he gave him. And I understand, Kobe should have saw the light and say, maybe we should have, brought, guys in to really fill that spot to be able to make another 6th, title, to get a 6th title for Kobe. And I just really am disappointed because, Kobe's not going to get that ring, that 6th ring. He's not going to tie Jordan. It's obviously going to be Jordan, and then you're going to compare him to Kobe. They're in 2 separate categories, but to not.
They're in the same category.
I just want to see him go out, have a better season going out. But I just want to get your thoughts on, everything I just said, and everything.
Yeah, no doubt. I think that Kobe is in the same category as Michael Jordan, and in a way, I do respect him for staying with the Lakers. I agree he should have taken a pay cut if he wanted to win a title, but I think Kobe Bryant is just tired of the grind. He's tired of playing in the NBA for this long, and he kind of just wants to take a joyride. And Kobe Bryant's the type of personality, Shenko, that literally basketball is his entire life. He can't just be mellow about the sport. He can't half-ass it at all. He has to go into it with full capacity, and he has to be the guy, and he's vulnerable to not being seen as the main guy. And you saw what he did to Dwight Howard He took Dwight Howard aside, and he frustrated Dwight Howard to no ends because he's that type of he's a type A personality. And you need to be a true professional to be able to play alongside Kobe. And he might not be great at mentoring tough guys because he really is a tough love sort of guy. He's going to be, and I respect him for that and his leadership. He maybe thought, Shenko, that he was doing the unselfish thing because they have Julius Randle, they have that kid Russell, Jordan Clarkson. So they do have a young nucleus there, and I think that they, in a couple of years, through a couple more drafts, can really be successful. But I look at Kobe. I don't think he had the patience. I believe that if he wanted the championship, absolutely, you got to take a pay cut and you got to mellow out. I completely agree. But he's just so vulnerable to being seen in that state. And right now he looks like MJ on the Wizards. So that's honestly what I see at the situation.
Yeah, I just wanted to get that opinion out there because I've been it's been cooped up for a long time. I just wanted to give my, but I don't want to overshadow everything what Kobe has done in his NBA.
No, I think he's up there with Jordan.
Right, I think so too, and I mean, obviously, it's gonna they're always gonna be compared to, but I honestly feel that they're in two separate categories just because of the fact that. Everybody's going to look at Kobe Bryant. Oh, he lost in the finals. He lost to the Celtics in 08. He lost. And Jordan is unblemished in the finals. He's 6-0. He's got those 6 finals MVPs. And you just you look at that. It's like, how could you
punish a dude that made the finals though?
Right. I understand, but it is an accomplishment to make the NBA finals, and And I feel like a lot of people in the public eye are always going to put Jordan up ahead of Kobe, but it's a very slight – it's always like a 1A or 1B type of guy because everybody always looks at, how many rings you have compared to the championship because, basketball is a type of sport, there's a lot less people and, you really need to make a difference on a 13-man roster to be able to, contribute to make, a world championship and have – the key role players that you do have.
No doubt.
And when Kobe had Pimpin, he had Kukoc, and he had I'm drawing a blank here, but Dennis Rodman, and we had all the great role players, Steve Kerr, Ron Harper, and then Kobe obviously had Derek Fisher and Shaquille, which really helped him get him over the hump. Just like with Jordan, he needed to get over the hump with getting over with the Pistons. Could never get over the Pistons. And then once Pippen came over and Rodman came over from the Pistons, then they had the nucleus to build a title. But, it's really just – I'm really excited.
Well, Shenko, here's the thing. You got to respect Kobe for staying in L.A., because people resented LeBron for taking the easy way out, some considered by going to Miami. And Kobe, when you look at his legacy, he's not going to have that involved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it is very sad, and definitely a terrific, true professional. It's really hard not to like and respect Kobe.
Oh, absolutely. And I have the utmost respect for him. I always look up to him, and obviously, I'm a basketball advocate. I love playing the sport. I always play pickup games with a bunch of my friends over at the gym. I always try to imitate Kobe's moves, do the fadeaway. It's always great to see.
You play like a guard or like a forward?
Well, me, I'm usually a forward guy, but you always try to be flashy, with the passes and try to be that catalyst. But yeah, I can't wait to see Kobe this year play, and I hope to see him. At the Fargo coming up soon, really soon. Yeah.
Funny, I try to imitate Jimmer Fredette when I play basketball.
Jimmy Fredette, of all the players, Jimmy Fredette.
I do. I light it up from way down, man. I love to shoot from way out.
Right? Why you could just imitate Stephen Curry, man? He's lights out.
I guess it's more fun with Jimmer.
Who?
An underdog character.
Oh man, you always like those underdogs, Spence.
It's you, man. Kirk Cousins, Fredette, all these guys, man.
Yeah, you always are advocates for those guys, man, and that's Spencer for you. I always like being the front runner guy. I mean, always a guy to imitate. Well, that's gonna do it for us. This is the Shank and Spence show, and we'll keep it rolling again, and then hopefully we'll get this going again soon. And I'll
not every week, the Jets.
Yeah, man, we'll see. Go G, man. I'll talk to you guys.